This is Texans TV. Texans Extra Points is sponsored by BHP and by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Houston Texans, and by your Houston area Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
We are ready to rock at NRG Stadium. Watt gets him down this time. JJ with the sack. Rock and roll. Touchdown. Deshaun Watson.
The time is now. This is Texans Extra Points. My name's Drew Dougherty. I'm your host, and we got a good show because Clint Sterner's here. You hear him in the afternoons on Sports Radio 610. You hear him, well, after the games as well. He's the post-game show host for Texans Radio. Good to see you. We got a lot to cuss and discuss. You doing all right?
Doing well, man. Let's get it.
Let's do it. All right, let's start off with some news of the week. It's the Red Diamond Iced Tea Quick Hits. And we start things off, well, the Texans are back to work after a week off. They had the bye last Sunday, so they head to Jacksonville this Sunday to take on the Jaguars. All in all, they've got a big hole to climb out of, to dig themselves out of. But you don't do it all at once. You don't win 9 games at once. It all starts on Sunday.
You know, right now, just try to win the division. That's what our main focus. Taking one game, starting with Jacksonville the next week on the next task, and just kind of pushing for that. We got 9 more weeks. The give everything that we got. You know, put everything in a drawer and just go focus on football.
Earlier in the week, the trade deadline came and went. On Tuesday, the Texans did not make any major moves, and for the most part, everyone here stays.
I wanted all these guys on the team. I didn't want to trade anybody. Okay, I want them all on the team. Plus, when you're talking about trading, you know, like I said, I'm not taking peanuts, right? All right, and nobody really came through with a deluxe nut package.
And on Thursday, the news came out that the Texans had to close down their facilities because of a COVID-19 test. Now, that's a setback, but it's nothing that can derail this team.
Well, it's never easy when you lose, you know, your top guys, and these are some top guys on defense for us. But one of the things I always talk to the players about in their roles and how important their roles are, that they have to be ready to step up and play when called on.
Okay, so that's some news of the week. Clint Sterner joining us now, and no moves made. That does many things. It says many things, but one of the things it does say in general is, hey, you've still got hope for the 2020 season. You've gone through the gauntlet, so to speak, of all those rough quarterbacks and good teams. And, hey, every team in the NFL is good, but you've got a chance here in 2020, don't you?
Yeah, the back end of the schedule definitely lightens up. There's no doubt about that. And I think it's also important to note that this offense is really starting to click with chemistry. Deshaun Watson, the 3 or 4 new weapons that he has, the offensive line spending some time together, and the numbers that they're putting up, the points that they've been able to score in the last 3 or 4 games has been really impressive. Now, the team as a whole has yet to put things together. There's no doubt about that. That's no secret. But there's definitely something to be said. There's value in keeping the crew together and moving forward with the same guys that you've seen some growth with over the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, and there was an idea that Will Fuller, the 5th, might get moved north to Green Bay. Didn't happen. You know who loves that is, well, a lot of people love that, but especially Deshaun Watson. Now, you played quarterback in the NFL. You were a star at Arkansas. You still coach the position on the side. You know quarterbacks. What has Deshaun Watson done really well over the last month or so? Because he's completing those downfield passes and getting some explosive plays, Clint.
Well, we've all heard people talk about he needs to become a distributor of the football, and that's a broad brush, right? That's a broad stroke over the quarterback position. To me, what he's done is he's distributed the ball accurately and on time, and he's been more calculated with his shots. When you watch the film with Deshaun Watson, there's times when he gets Will Fuller matched up. Last week he had him matched up with Jonathan Joseph a few times, 14 years, 30 in the league, 36 years old. You would think the old Deshaun, boy, he would be chomping at the bit to take that shot, but he didn't do it. He took the more high percentage throws underneath, and he manipulated the defense, and when he got his shots, he took his shots. So it's not that he's not taking shots. It's not that he's being conservative. It's that he's playing the game between the ears at a much higher level and keeping this offense in position more times than not. Still has to improve, but more times than not, he's keeping this offense in position where they can convert third downs and where they can score points. And that's a much improved Deshaun Watson.
Being very judicious with his gambles, or not gambles, but his deep shots like you're talking about. Okay, so you like what he's done there. What else can he actually get better at? Where can he improve?
Well, I think the biggest thing with Deshaun is that's concerned me this year is the problems at the line of scrimmage. You know, communicating the protection and trying to figure out who's coming and who's not coming when teams crowd the line, when defenses crowd the line of scrimmage. That's something that's very difficult to do, but the great ones do it. Whether it's the young great ones, you're talking about Pat Mahomes, he does it. He does it really well. Or the old heads, right? The Aaron Rodgers, Drew Breeses, Tom Brady's. Those guys, they know what the defense is going to do before he ever snaps the football, dang near every snap. And so that's one big concern is can Deshaun Watson figure that out? Now, he needs a system that's going to help him. And the system, Tim Kelly and that crew has to help him moving forward this year while they're here. And that's a big part of it. But Deshaun's got to do it on Sundays between the lines when the clock's running.
What you bring up the system. What do they need to do to jiggle that system to get the run game going? Because it's really been a struggle. David Johnson's not having much space to operate with. You haven't seen much Duke Johnson either. What do they need to do differently there, you think?
Well, regardless of what people think about the running backs themselves and their talent, it seems like you get the same story when either one of them are in the game. There's not a whole lot of running room inside. And it's hard to put your finger on one thing, but I did notice something last week, Drew, that was interesting, was the RPO game, which has to be part of what Deshaun Watson does, the run-pass option. It has to be a part of a Deshaun Watson-led offense. I don't know that this offensive line is real comfortable executing the RPO because, remember, if they get downfield too early and Deshaun pulls it and throws it, then it's a flag.
Right.
So there's extreme hesitation to come off of double teams and get to the second level. And a lot of times you see Duke or David Johnson beating those guys to the second level or running up the back of the offensive line. They're having a real problem executing that, and that's something that Deshaun Watson has to be able to do on a weekly basis. This offense has to consist of that, so they got to get better there first and foremost.
All right, we're going to get into the defense after the break, but before we go to break, we've got to get a telestrator. And getting kick-started for the defensive talk that we're going to get into is John Harris with some X's and O's on defensive coverage.
Welcome to Texans Illustrated, presented by BMW. I'm your host, John Harris, and we're going to take a look at the Texans defense putting rush and coverage together, and this is something that the Texans are going to have to do for the remaining 9 games of the year, starting in Week 9 and this week against Jacksonville. All right, this is a new view here on our Surface powered by Microsoft, but I love it because it's an end zone all 22 view, and I love that. So what you're going to have here is man coverage across the board. So we're going to go here. When I draw that little infinity sign, that means that those guys are locked up, okay? We're going to go here. So those guys are all locked up in man, and we've got one safety free back here. I think that's Justin in the back, okay? Now, one key thing here to look at is Jay Sternberger started on this side, and then as Aaron Rodgers is calling out signals, he goes to this side. When he does, watch JJ. JJ goes opposite. Now, the reason he goes opposite is he now has a one-on-one with this situation right here. So that helps JJ by that, moving over here. If he's over here, he's got too much stuff going on. He goes over here, it's a one-way move, and that's going to be really important on his play. Now, Aaron Rodgers knows it's man. So, crossers, somebody's getting picked off, right? That's what you're looking for in man. You're running some kind of switch route here. You're doing something so that these guys maybe bump into each other, okay? You might do it over here. You might go crosser, and then he comes here, and you're trying to pick off that guy, all right? So Rodgers knows it's man, and so that's what he's going to want. He's going to want some sort of crossing route that knocks somebody off, a pick route to the defense, a rub route to the offense, okay? And so you can see, here's Adam starting to come underneath. Here's Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He's going underneath. All right? They tried to pick off Terrell Adams, but they did a great job of staying on different levels. All right? Let's take a look at that real fast. Watch how Terrell goes over the top of that and doesn't run into, which is something the Texans. See how he runs over the top of this? And that's how he's getting through there. So that's a good job on this side. Now, on this side, it looks like that's going to be tied up a little bit. and that Vernon right here got caught behind that little pick. However, you got Michael Thomas here that sees it and was like, hey, he's floating in the middle. Thomas is floating in the middle. He's just looking for whatever he can find. And when he sees Devontae coming across, he's like, hey, I'll pick him up. You just stay over there on that side, and now everybody's picked up. Look at this, one-on-one. That's going to be there, one-on-one. You actually got a double team there. You got Terrell Adams over here. Look at that, coverage, beautiful. And what that causes is what? Watch JJ. Now let's focus on 99. If you're one-on-one with Watt, you will lose. Watch him throw the hands, get the hands down. He goes with a double swipe down, chop, rip, and he makes Rodgers have to move. And now Rodgers has got to throw that ball away. That is an excellent version of rush and coverage marrying together. That, more than anything else for the defense, has got to come together in the second half of the season.
Here's the snap to Deshaun, throws over the middle. Got a man! First down, Cooks, left side, 15, 10, 5. He's in! Touchdown, Houston on 4th down, 28 yards.
We love next-gen stats powered by AWS, and look at that. Deshaun Watson, Clint, you know this, that could be a Wade Boggs or a Tony Gwynn spray chart. He was going deep, he was going short, he was going over the middle, didn't matter if it was left, right, or center. He spread the ball around. It was something Clint was talking about earlier in the show. Glad you're back with us here on Texans Extra Points. Drew, Clint. Let's talk about the defense because they got a lot of work to do. You know, they've struggled against the run. They've struggled against the pass, too. How can this defense stop the run better than they have the first 6-7 games?
Well, Drew, I think it starts. This is an offensive-driven football team. So the best way. A lot of people say the best offense, the best defense is to keep a quarterback on the sideline.
Yeah.
That ain't the case with Deshaun Watson. I think he's got to start by scoring points. They got to get a lead.
Yeah.
They got to get the slow starts are really hurting the defense, right? The offense is responsible for the majority of it, but it's hurting the defense. So first and foremost, I think Deshaun and this offense have to help these guys because when they play with a lead, then they've got a chance. Now your superstars can shine. These guys can do what they do well and pin their ears back, right? And so it starts by the offense helping out, and then they can do work, and their superstars can shine.
Yeah, it's a good point you bring up because Deshaun Watson and the offense, they've not scored a touchdown on the first drive since the 2018 season. You got to go back 2 years ago for that to happen. So excellent point there. As far as getting after the quarterback, getting the pass rush beefed up, J.J. Watt's gotten home a few times. You always want that number to rise, not just with him, but across the board. Yeah. They've not been very good covering the pass and getting after the quarterback. Yeah,
look, they haven't done a very good job of dictating to the offense the situation or disguising coverages. And look, they've been hamstrung a little bit by injuries in the secondary. That's been a problem. The pass rush, interior pass rush has been a problem. So they've got to get some things figured out in terms of being able to show this young quarterback one look, roll the coverage, force him to hold the football for 1 second, and allow those guys to get home. Quite frankly, the pass rush, I'm very hesitant to knock the pass rush at this point in time. Because I think from a game plan standpoint, the first couple of weeks for dang sure, you can also say that a couple of other weeks along the way where it's been a bend don't break mentality where these quarterbacks are just getting the ball out so quick. I would expect this week that the Texans would have a much better chance to get to the quarterback, regardless of who's playing that position. But the fact that it's a young rookie that hasn't played at all, they should be able to affect him in a big way.
Good stuff. All right, we're going to get into the breakdown of the game on Sunday against the Jaguars. And speaking of the Jaguars, how many consecutive wins right now do the Texans have against Jacksonville? We'll have that answer later on in Texans Extra Points.
On first down from the Jags 44, Deshaun calls for the ball. Here's the snap, 4-man rush. Watson stands in, throws over the middle, hits Fells across the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, rock and roll, touchdown, Houston. 44 yards to Darren Fells.
look at the wheels on the big fella. That was Darren Fells with a 44-yard touchdown the last time the Texans and Jags got together. You know, he scores that touchdown. The Texans didn't give up the lead after that. Drew Dougherty, Clint Sterner here on Texans Extra Points coming at you from the Ford Studios. And let's mess with the rookie QB, right? You talk about making sure his eyes deceive what's happening. How else do you kind of confuse this guy? We heard Romeo Crennel say, you got to throw different coverages at him. You got to throw different looks at him, and you alluded to that earlier too.
Well, you got to throw different looks at him, and you got the key is you make a young quarterback see something pre-snap, and then after he snaps the ball, you make him see movement and process what's going on because he sees the movement, and now where he's going with the football changes. Does he take the shot? Does he work the middle of the field? Does he take the outlet? You got to make him work post-snap. I believe that is going to be a huge advantage for the Texans. And the other thing is, look, I don't care if it's with 3 guys or 5 guys, if they've got to bring a 6th guy. I don't care how they do it. They've got to move Jake Luton off of his platform. He's 6'6". He's a big, long drink of water. He's uncomfortable when you make him move, especially in his first NFL start with J.J. Watt on the other side of the line of scrimmage. So I don't care how many times you quote-unquote sack him, right? I want to see them move him off his spot, make him drift, make him escape the pocket and throw the football on the run. Those are things that you have to make this guy do. Make him work upstairs between the ears with what you do with your safeties, and then physically make him feel it with your pass rush. And again, you don't have to hit him, just make him move, baby.
Yeah, I know you're impressed with his hose. He can throw the ball. I mean, he's got an arm. And the last time the Texans faced a rookie quarterback, there's also a rookie quarterback who can throw it, and Drew Lock, he undressed him. Different circumstances, different team. So let's move on to James Robinson. He's done a nice job this year for them. You kind of scratched your head a little bit, or we all did. Why didn't they use him more the first time the Texans played? Because that running attack was kind of on a roll when they came into NRG Stadium a month ago.
Yeah, well, you know, they've got some of the same problems that the Texans have in terms of, man, when they get down, they get to where they're very one-dimensional, and you get them outside their own skin sometimes, right? And the Texans usually have that problem in the first half, is they want to be balanced and they want to get the running back touches, and then all of a sudden in the second half, it's like, heck, we got to throw it to win this ball game. So Deshaun starts throwing the leather off of it. With Jacksonville, they want to run the football, but if you can offense get a little lead, and if you can stop that run, which it's not a dynamic run game, Drew. I mean, this is a run game the Texans should be able to stop. Yeah. Even when he hits them for a big play, it's not going to be 80 yards, it's going to be 20. He doesn't have that Derrick Henry, that Clyde Edwards-Helaire type of top-end speed where he can take it the distance. So they've got to slow that run down, let the offense get the lead, and then I think Jacksonville's play caller will take it out of his hands and put it in a young fella's hands, and that's exactly where the Texans want this game to go in the fourth quarter.
All right, our Gatorade players to watch. Yep. We usually don't do this. We usually don't let you pick J.J. Watt or Deshaun Watson, but we're making an exception for you. Why are you going with who you're going with? Well,
but just Deshaun Watson has made some big-time progress, and his numbers are through the roof, even though they're 1-6. And this is a week for 2 reasons that I have to choose Deshaun Watson, because one, I believe that this is a game where if they have a chance, if that light is flickering at the end of the tunnel, not only do they have to win, but they have to win convincingly. And the only way they're going to do that is if Deshaun Watson plays big, and if Deshaun Watson plays big from the jump. First quarter, scoring points, gets that lead that I talked about is so important, so this defense has a chance to succeed. If you get in a hole, the defense doesn't have a chance. At this point in the time, we're 7 games in, 8 weeks in, going on the 9th week of the season. Yep. It's time that Deshaun realizes that he's got to get a lead for this defense to have a chance.
A good way to do that is to hit my Texan to watch, Will Fuller the fifth, because hey, they've gone deep, and they've gone deep a lot of times together, 21 times in just 48 games for Will Fuller. That's pretty darn good. All right, I like yours, I like mine. We're going to be back with one more segment of Texans Extra Points when we come back.
Texans Extra Points has been sponsored by BHP and by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Houston Texans, by Amegy Bank, official business bank of the Houston Texans, and by Jameson. Tailgate like a Texan with Jameson Irish Whiskey.
Earlier in the show, we had some Texans trivia. What is the win streak running at right now? The Texans have won 5 straight versus the Jaguars. Clint Sterner joining me now. Clint, you knew this. But since the start of the 2011 season, the Texans have swept every season except for 13 and 17. They've won both games. So looking to complete the sweep in 2020. And let's talk about keys to the game, keys to victory. It's the FCCU keys to the victory. What are the two things the Texans got to do to come away with a W?
I think defensively they got to know where DJ Chark is at all times, and the reason I say that is he's their best weapon in terms of having chemistry, at the NFL level and having the ability to go deep. You mentioned the rookie with the big arm; he's going to want to throw it over the top, and so DJ Chark is a guy that they got to know where he's at all times. And I'm talking about the Texans defense. And the reason that's important is because I saw Justin Reed make a mistake against Green Bay that we hadn't seen him make many of, where he shaded over towards a two-receiver set, opposite man-to-man coverage where Devontae Adams was, and Aaron Rodgers saw it and threw a touchdown pass. That is something that you don't see Justin Reed do very often, and you just cannot do moving forward. Again, if that light at the end of the tunnel is flickering for the Texans, they got to get that straight, and it starts this week, and they got to know where DJ Chark is on the defensive side of the football. Offensively, I think they got to get that RPO game right. Mm-hmm. That's such a big part of what this team is going to need if they're going to hit on all cylinders and beat really good opponents, not Jacksonville, but really good opponents. They've got to get that cleaned up, and most of it's on the offensive line, the offensive linemen. I think Mike Devlin's got to get those guys coached up to a point where they're more comfortable executing those RPOs. So that's really what I'm looking for on both sides of the football this week, because both of them will be game changers if they can accomplish it.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to what you were talking about earlier. We were discussing earlier. Take a lead early. Get on top early. How about a touchdown on the first drive? We haven't seen it in 2 years. Let's get there. Let's go see that. And then second one is just get after this quarterback. He's a young guy. Knock him around, hammer him around, strip sacks, interceptions. Let's do that. And also, you like reading. I like reading. We all love reading. So check out our team president, Jamie Roots. He has a new book. It's called The Winning Game Plan. It's coming out on November 10th. You can get it on Amazon.com, at the Houston Texans team shop, or wherever books are sold. The book is not closed on the Texans season. We're going to see what they can do on Sunday in Jacksonville. Clint Sterner, as always, thanks for joining us, man. You were great, and we will see you and talk with you again very, very soon. Till then, go Texans. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.